What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review Podcast, man. This episode, Nitty and I are going to talk about what would you call these bands? Like, what kind of like sub genre would these guys get? We're going to talk about the Replacements and Leatherface. Leatherface. Yeah, man. So, okay, what is this Replacements album called? For anybody that's not clear, but if it's not very obvious, I'm not super like learned in this album yet. I'm not familiar with it. It's the word I was looking for. Familiar. Sorry, Ma, forgot to take out the trash. And then we're going to do Mush by Leatherface. So we're going to probably talk about Replacements first, because I think we have a little bit more to say about Leatherface. At least I do. So I thought we should talk about Replacements first, and then we can kind of just go on as long as we want, or as little as we want, talking about Leatherface. So what's up, man? How's your week been going? Or I guess, what is it, Monday? So to me, this is like Thursday. So
is today Monday?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a Monday.
Dude, my weeks are so weird because of my schedule that like by Monday it's like my Thursday.
Oh, so then what? Tomorrow's your Friday.
Yeah, Saturday, Wednesday and Thursday are basically my weekend. It's the only days that I have anything fun that I can do.
And you still work, and you still do the streams and shit.
I do. Yeah, man. You know, the other day I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, I need to take some time off. And I was like, but what am I going to do? Like, I like doing what I'm doing. I enjoy it. I like making videos. I like doing the streams. Now, do I go bowling with my daughter every couple of weeks? Yes, I need to do something like that. And traveling to Vegas while still work is going to be fun. I'll have a good time. But I think a week before I go and then the week after I go, I'm going to go dark for 2 days, like just 48 hours. I'm not going to talk to nobody. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to fucking take a bunch of showers. I'm going to like just just chill, dude. I'm going to chill for 2 days before and 2 days when I get home. I think I need it. I think I deserve it. And so I'm excited. Hey,
kid.
Don't scare you.
You did get me a little bit. Here, lean over here and say hi to Nitty.
No.
Hi.
All right, girl. Get out here. Go to bed. I love you.
Good night.
See you tomorrow. She got me a little bit. I was like, ah.
She scared you.
Stone Cold Stunner and stuff. But yeah, I think I've just earned a little bit of a break. My thing is that I understand momentum. Yeah. And I also have really bad ADHD. So like me sitting still and not doing anything is almost impossible.
But you'll burn out if you keep going like this, man.
Maybe. I've been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah.
A lot of folks don't realize I've been doing this shit for 5 years like this. And I got burned out once, and it was because of it was a different channel, and I just didn't like the content. Yeah. I so love what I do.
I know you do.
There are days where I go, oh, come on, man. Like, why is this happening?
It's just lately I've been hearing you say that you're more exhausted and tired.
Yeah, I am.
It's kind of like to us, it looks like you just need rest.
Yeah, Well, this is why I'm gonna take a couple of days to myself. I'm gonna force myself to do it, but I'll probably make like one extra video, like twice, over the course of a couple of weeks. That way, I can drop stuff still and not be completely gone. But momentum is the one thing that YouTube really penalizes you for not keeping up with. It sucks, man, because it forces you to either work all the time or barely do anything and not really have a channel that does a lot, unless you're already like super famous, which I don't think I'll ever get to that point. So, yeah. But yes, I hear everybody's concern, and I appreciate it, and I will get to taking care of myself. So, yeah, man, Punk Rock Bowling's coming, man. I'm excited for that. I want to see, a Cox Bar, obviously, right? Bouncing Souls. There's a bunch of great bands that are going to be there, man. I'm very excited about that. So, anyways, what's up with your? You had a busy week this week too. We had to schedule it on a Monday, which is not typical. We usually do this like Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday is usually a day we do this stuff on.
I just got random shit going on different nights of the week. This week,
for show.
One of those weeks.
Well, let's not keep these mongrels waiting.
Happy to be here.
Hell yeah, my guy, bro. Okay, so August 25th, so the summer of 1981, late summer, almost fall, basically. The Replacements drop Sorry Ma, Forgot to Take Out the Trash. It's their debut album. So, first off, I'm not really familiar with the Replacements. I wanted to do a dive. So if anybody's asking why I listened to this, it was my choice. I wanted to dive into the Replacements. I need to say that. I need to preface the conversation we're about to have with that, because I am going to say a lot of negative stuff in about the next 15, 20 minutes, right? That being said, I'm not discouraged even a little bit because I have a lot of positive things to say as well. But there will be a bunch of negativity, but it's just me being honest. So I'm just letting people know, like, I chose to listen to this. I want to do it even more, and I'm gonna do it even more. And I listened to about the 2/3 of it again right before we got on here. So yeah, man. So when we talked, I asked you. I said, tell me a Replacements album that is accessible. That way, when I do a deep dive, I'm interested in this band, and I kind of feel like you were like, ha ha ha, try this one, because I feel like this might be the wrong choice. Do you agree with this choice still? Like, since you've listened to it a little bit.
Well,
and, like,
I mean, when you said accessible, I didn't exactly know what you meant because all of their albums are so varied and different.
Okay.
You know, and
I kind of meant like accessible. Somebody could listen to it. Like almost anybody could listen to this and be a little bit into it. Kind of.
Well, this is probably their least accessible record then.
Okay. So okay, that's good.
Mass,
that's good news then. That's really good news then. That's actually like fantastic news. Because if I can feel the way I feel about this album, and this is their least accessible, quote unquote,
right?
Like as an example, if somebody asked me to give them an accessible Rancid album, I wouldn't give them 2000. I'd give them Out Come the Wolves, or maybe Indestructible even, and go here, start here, and if you like this, do a little bit more listening. Because I put on the text. What did I actually say to you? I can't remember, because my brain is dumb. Let's see, but and I'm only bringing it up because I was thinking when I was listening to it, I was like, huh. You know, I was interested in getting into this. Let's see, where was it that I said this to you? Oh, fuck, I should have pulled this up earlier, but Replacements, yeah, okay. Let's see. You know what? I can just chop this part out if it takes me a second, but I do want to make sure I'm not tripping here.
You're looking for a text?
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I said I'm not tripping on the year. Whatever record you think is the most accessible, that I may like the most. That way I can deep dive later and hopefully be a fan. So I was trying to come at this strategically. Okay. But when I heard it, I was like, I literally thought like maybe he thought I meant something different. But that might have actually been a beneficial, like, oops, right? Because I didn't actually like hate the album. I'll get into my thoughts real fast, and then I want to hear you explain some of this stuff to me. But my first listen, I probably liked half of the record, and I really actively disliked half the record. That was upon first listen, had never heard it. And you and I have discussed recently that you need a couple of listens on a record before you can really decide whether or not you like it. And I've changed my mind on a lot of things, and I'm approaching records that I've never heard with at least 2 listens now. 1, let me see how I feel about it initially. 2, knowing what I'm getting into when I jump into the record, right?
Yeah.
And so just for the sake of any of their super fans, whatever, I liked it quite a bit more on the second listen. Okay, I'm gonna shut the fuck up for a minute, let you talk. So what's up with this record? Why do you like it? Do you have any information on it? What's the story on this album?
The Replacements. Where to begin with this band? They're considered, you know, one of the main influences for like alternative rock, American alternative rock.
I can see
later in their career, in the late 80s, when they were signed to a major label, they really changed their sound quite a bit, and they began to kind of go a different direction, and they really influenced a lot of kind of American rock music that was coming out in the 90s.
I mean, I can hear a lot of that.
But the Replacements, they're one of those bands that kind of I was introduced to at the right time in my life. I was introduced to Replacements and Husker Du at the same time by the same person.
Okay.
And they're both from the same city, Minneapolis. So they pretty much, their careers ran alongside each other the whole time, like parallel. They had like a friendly rivalry, as a matter of fact.
Really?
On this record, they have a song I think it's the 14th track.
Yes.
Something to Do, with the 2 U's over it.
Yeah.
And it's a song about Husker Du. And it's pretty much them just like talking shit like friends about this other band in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. Both these bands actually were signed to major labels in the mid 80s. Husker Du was known to be a very hard-working workhorse of a band. Like, they toured incessantly. They just plugged away and plugged away and plugged away because they were on SST Records. And the Replacements were just these like fucking crazy wild party boys. that had a reputation for just being like just fucking shit up, like breaking guitars and being super destructive. Like that's what they were known for. There's a book written by them called This Band Could Be Your Life, and it kind of talks about their history and chronicles them, because they're really just fucking crazy. Like the Replacements had like a reputation for just being nuts and very hard to like manage and work with. As a matter of fact, in 1984, they played at CBGB's. They did a live album, which is actually called Live and Drunk. Okay. And they were playing for like these A&R reps, and they purposely fucked all the songs up.
That's crazy. Just
to kind of not get signed, on purpose. You can hear this. It's hilarious, actually, on YouTube.
I might go listen to that.
Live and Drunk. You might not. You'll be like, this is awful, but they had this charm. They had this charm to them that was just so undeniable that like they could obviously play their instruments, like and very quickly. Like the lead guitarist who passed away, he was an incredible musician and a big influence on the band. That first record, Sorry Mom Forgot to Take Out the Trash, is this just snotty, abrasive, attitude-filled, kind of breakneck speed, like raucous punk record that I don't think I've heard anything like. And at the time in my life, I was getting drunk a lot, and that record would just make me be a little weirdo in my car with like a tall can and just play these songs at top volume and just drive around the city blasting these songs and getting drunk in my car. It was kind of like the soundtrack to like my early 20s. So,
well, you saying that will kind of give people an idea of why maybe you hold this record in as high regard as you do. Right. I think that this is kind of a like typical first record. It's very raw. It's very rough around the edges. The mix is like, it's good, but I wouldn't call it like great. So it's funny. We've talked about them enough to where I wanted to listen to them. I wanted to get into the band. You told me that they were like party animals at one point, right? And so when I was listening to this, for some reason that was in my head, and I was thinking like, man, based on these lyrics, I can tell that these dudes were kind of wild. Maybe even like wild to the point that like, not to the point that maybe wild because now I don't know these guys and I'm not trying to talk shit on anybody, but like maybe they came from money or something. So they didn't have like a lot of hardships because their lyrics don't represent like hard work, blue collar type stuff. Like maybe Leatherface's lyrics might, or some, some of these more oi-ish hard, street punk bands. I don't know. They talk about things that, and they may have nothing to do with it at all. My only point is that maybe that has something to do with their lyrical content. I don't know. It came off sounding a little judgy. That's not what I meant.
Right.
But yeah, their lyrics aren't. Yeah, I don't know. It just made sense. It made sense to me that you told me this about this band. Based on what I was hearing, I can agree that without even knowing them, that's probably kind of who they were.
We got to remember how they were teenagers when this record came out.
Oh, teenagers! I don't know that, bro. You gotta remember, I don't know this band at all.
They were super young. In fact, the bass player, Tommy Stinson, was 14 years old on this record. His brother played guitar, Bob Stinson. Tommy Stinson,
fucking idiot. That's insane. I said idiot. That's not what I mean.
No,
that's insane.
They were super young. I don't think they came from money. I think they were just like super middle class, bored, suburban Minnesota.
Okay, that is better. A better explanation of what I was actually thinking. So again, I reiterate, I wasn't trying to sound like a prick or anything. That's a better bored middle class is exactly what I was thinking. I should know how to articulate it. So bored thank you. That's what I meant. I just meant that they weren't like super struggling where they were worried about where their next meal was coming from type shit. Because those people tend to write way different lyrics. They're usually way darker, sadder, honestly.
Right.
So okay. I wrote a few notes down. I guess I wrote quite a bit of notes down. It's like one or two lines for a bunch of different songs. So it's not a whole lot of words. But the first song, it really is great guitar work. Like I wrote that down and said, bring up the guitar work on the first track. It was fantastic, man. I don't want to be like Negative Nancy here because this album had a lot to offer. Just like upon first listen, these notes were written on my first listen. So
yeah,
a record like this, I think, is going to be kind of a tough task for people to just jump in and get to. Like you said earlier, it's probably their least accessible album. And based on that alone, at the very end, I wrote down Black Diamond off their album Let It Be just kind of came on after that album was done on Spotify because I was driving. I was driving while I was listening to this.
That's a Kiss cover.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously I don't know a lot about Kiss, but I like that sound a lot. So I'm telling you, I will probably end up a pretty big fan of this band because there was enough songs on here. Let me pull up my
which songs did you like them best?
That's what I'm looking for right now. So Hanging Downtown, Kick Your Door Down, Shiftless When Idle, More Cigarettes, I'm in Trouble, and Shut Up are all ones that I like put on either my playlist or the channels or both. So those are all songs that I like a fair bit. I bought a Headache. I did not like it all. And Something to Do I thought was absolutely terrible. I put on here, not a fan of the vocals on Careless, but it's a short song, so it's not really worth skipping.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't add it to a playlist. I put on here for the song Customer. I kind of like that one too. And I put Customer felt like the punk song version of that movie Clerks. Like just the feeling I got when listening to it, it felt like Clerks to me. It also felt like maybe a warning, like a precursor to like, hey, Karens are coming. Like, I don't know. It's just the thoughts I had when I was listening to it.
Yeah.
And then I put on here, Hanging Downtown's the first song on the album that I genuinely like a lot. Kick Your Door Down is another great song. I like the music in it a lot. The guitar riff is great.
Right.
I put on here, I really like that the songs aren't super long. Even if I don't like the song, it's not long enough to really bother me. That's a big plus. Well, dude, you know how much I hate 4-minute songs.
Yeah,
I don't like them. So like if I have an album that, let's say it's half decent, like half of it's good, I like it, I can still play it because if the songs are 2 minutes long, what do I care? It's 2 minutes, you know, it'll be gone before you know it. So I can still play the album. I think that's a big plus because if you play an album long enough, you're going to start liking it. I don't care what the album is, dude. If I listen to Husker Du all day, I would start liking it. There's no way around it.
Maybe you should start listening to more Husker Du all day.
I tried that. I was wrong. I hated it still.
I love this record. I think it's a one of a kind gem. I can
hear you liking it when I was listening to it, and I was just like, yeah, Nitty and me just don't like the same kind of music like at our core. That's probably wrong. At our core, we do. It's the other shit we don't.
Yeah,
like.
it's the other. I mean, there's a lot of this band that they have this like raucous energy that this is.
I hate that word.
There can only be one. I mean, it's an accurate description though.
No, it is. I wouldn't say don't use it. I'm just saying like I hate it because it looks funny when it's written. That's why I hate it.
RAUCOU.
Oh, it drives me nuts, bro.
It's like, why is there a fucking U in this
word?
Dude,
it drives me.
There shouldn't be a U in this word. It doesn't sound like there's a U.
No, we're going to talk about another word that I love in the next album, which is funny because I don't usually talk about stuff like that. But yeah, look, man, I'm joking around, laughing and stuff. I didn't hate this album. I was wanting to like it a lot. So I had to like
what was it about the record you didn't like?
Do what?
What was it about the record you didn't like?
I don't like chaotic, messy stuff, dude. I just don't.
Okay,
I like even with my like really dirty punk rock shit, it's usually played really well, and it's not necessarily recorded really well.
But these guys are playing great though.
Okay, that's subjective, I guess. So I think they're playing great. I guess.
I think.
Look,
I think.
I'm not even going to disagree. I'm not even going to disagree that they're playing great. They're playing great, but it's still like chaotic. I don't like chaotic. Okay. So I guess that's the word I'll have to stick with because they are playing well. I talked about that a couple of times actually in my notes that there's good musicianship all over this record. I don't like chaotic music. I have really bad ADHD. So
extremely chaotic record. Yeah. I can see why you
I've been thinking about it for like 2 months because I really disliked some of that early Husker Du stuff and I wanted to like it so bad. Dude, I came to you with the Husker Du idea. That was my idea.
Which is an extremely chaotic and noisy band also. So it makes sense. You wouldn't
and so, well, this is like a bridge between what I like in the Husker Du. So I think that if I end up liking this a lot, there is a timeline where I end up at least enjoying some of Husker Du's music. Like I don't see how that's not possible.
I think that, I kind of figured it out. I mean, after all the songs I kind of threw at you and you're just like, God, I can't fucking do it. And then like every once in a while you'd be like, I do like this one though. I think there's just the like at its core, the like sonic quality of the music is just your brain is just like fucking no more. I can't take this shit.
Well,
like turn it off, you know?
there's actually, you know what, dude? Like right now I had like a revelation in all of this music. This band included, Husker Du, and some of the other stuff that we've played just on the stream or whatever.
Yeah.
On the bands that I have a hard time with, specifically stuff that you and I are talking about, not like, you know, Chevelle or whatever bullshit somebody asked me to play.
Right.
There's like this white noise that sets my brain on fire. Like I hear it and I'm like, I can hear something the melodic beneath this, but there's this on top of that
wall of sound.
And I think you like that. It's soothing to you, whereas to me it's like a trigger. I'm like, ah.
It drives you nuts.
We both have the complete opposite reaction to that sound. I think
funny. Even on the live streams, I'm the one requesting the most noisy music.
Yeah, I think it's just soothing to you, which is okay. I have this weird thing about people that get on like YouTube comments or on Reddit or whatever, and they get so pissed at people for not liking some kind of imaginary checklist of stuff that they think you're supposed to like.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like I do understand being upset if somebody goes, this shit is ass and I hate it. All right. That's different. I've said that before and I don't come at people when they get mad about that.
Yeah.
But when I'm just like, yeah, I didn't really care for it. It's not my thing. And people are like, I don't see how you could not like this. Well, dude, you're making me hate it now. Like, just leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Because especially people like me, where I react to stuff like that. And if you tell me I'm supposed to like it, I go further and further away.
I think what it is that people that really like love stuff, right? They just want other people to understand why they love it.
That's
right.
True.
So if someone's just like that's fucking terrible, it's just like the person, they get low key offended. They're like, oh my God. But like, to me, it's like the best thing since fucking sliced bread. Like, why can't you give it, an ounce of credit?
Here's something that I'll tell you that I think you'll appreciate this. Okay. My favorite band is Rancid.
Right.
I genuinely don't understand how anybody that likes punk rock music cannot like Rancid, right?
But people feel that way about things that you don't like, right?
Correct. My point is that since I don't understand that, right, I would be lying if I said that when people just absolutely shit on them that it didn't bother me, right?
Right.
This is where I'm different than people. It bothers me a little bit, and I go, okay. I'm bothered by it. Like, what am I going to change from them if I get all mad and talk shit? Right. I'll argue people all day about stuff, but when it comes to things like that, it doesn't do me any good to be bothered by it. So I like actively have to like go. I have to like hear it, be irritated by it, and go, hey, nope, this is not worth arguing about. It's just stupid because because it does bother me a little bit, and I do take it like it does. It's not even that I get mad. It like hurts my feelings when people like shit on them really bad. Because I'm like, man, this band's really important to me. So I know how you feel, which is why I don't want to play them on the stream, because I know all I'm going to do is say negative stuff. I was saying that the other night, and I don't think anybody was hearing me. I was like, dude, I just don't want to shit on this band over and over. Like, it's Nitty's favorite band. Like, why do I want to do that?
We'll go back to the replacements in a minute. But the thing is that
yeah, I guess so, huh?
I'm at the point that, like, with anything, it's like, I like what I like. That's not, that's, people's opinions of it isn't going to change anything, right? I mean, I'm still going to like the band and I'm still going to appreciate what it is. I want other people to hear it, right?
Sure.
So it's like the reason that I'm requesting this music is because I'm like, hey, maybe someone in the chat's going to be like, fuck, this is really good.
By all means, start a channel, get a chat going, man. Let them listen to it all you want.
You're like, but you're not fucking playing this good on my shit.
Dude, the thing is like, yes, I understand that. It's just like being like, yeah, but your rights are going to start impeding on my rights.
No. I'm not going to request Husker Du.
No, I know that. And like, well, I was saying the other day, like if somebody that didn't know us got on there and asked for it, I would just play it.
Yeah.
Like, why would I not? But like, it's because I don't want to just continue. Like, whether you can be okay with that or not is one thing, and then I don't want to do it. Like, I just don't want to be that guy. Like I have enough negative things to say about plenty of other bands.
It's just at this point, it's just like a joke. It's like a running joke. It's just kind of
No,
funny to me,
and
right?
people think I'm mad when I'm not usually because I kind of always sound like I always sound like I'm on the verge of like losing my shit, which I'm typically not. I just always sound that way. I was blessed with this fucking tone of voice from my mother. Thank you, Mom.
You're just always kind
dude. Everybody's always like, "Why are you mad?" I'm like, "Bro, I was in a great mood. What are you talking about?" Like,
it's the delivery. You're
dude, I'm just like, "What's up, bro?" Like, even when I'm in a good mood,
you're kind of aggressive. Just
very
24 hours a day,
dude, abrasive, and I wake up like fucking. What the fuck's up? Good morning.
0 to 60. Okay, so but this album, it's
yeah, for real.
When I heard it, I hadn't heard any punk rock like this before, and
man,
I
it's
was like,
so hard for me to categorize this as punk. It is. I fully accept that it is.
It's a punk record.
It just sounds to me like
it's really just chaotic, noisy rock and roll played at really fast tempos.
Well,
they're not political at all, really.
Right. I don't think punk has to be political. People that say that are dumb.
No, it doesn't. Ridiculous. It doesn't. But they're just kind of singing. It's kind of a lens into like the what life was like living in the Twin Cities in like the late 70s and the early 80s. It's these guys didn't have shit to do, and also it snows there. It gets fucking cold as shit over there, right? So like, what do you do?
Where are they at?
Minneapolis.
Oh, they're in Minneapolis. Okay.
Yeah. So I wonder, literally in Chicago, Minneapolis, all these bands, like they talk about it all the time. They're like, all winter, all you do is you stay in a basement, get drunk, and play music.
Yeah, that's literally that's pretty bad, dude. Texas may be hot in the summertime, but at least I can go outside year round.
Yeah, it's like minus like 10 and shit. You can't do anything.
Crazy, dude.
So it's just a different type of environment. So, but the Replacements have a really interesting history. This album and the one that came after this, called Stink, which was like, for lack of a better word, an EP. I think there's only 7 or 8 songs on it. Okay. Were the 2 like straight punk sounding albums. Hootenanny, that was released in 1983. They're all over the fucking place. They have like weird rock and roll, rockabilly type sounding songs on there. Well, like, I don't know.
They have that on this album. There's a couple of songs. Hold on. There's one on here. Let's see. Where's it at? I wrote it down because it literally. Oh yeah, the random change to a George Thorogood bluesy stomp in the middle of Auto was not expected at all.
Yeah.
Like I also realized like how I would categorize bands like Replacements and Husker Du. You called them punk bands, and I kept saying like I don't see how they're considered punk. Yeah. I'm not saying they're not, folks. Like, calm down. Like, just chill out, bro. Like, call them whatever you want. I don't give a shit. They remind. If I was going to categorize them, I would put them in like the college radio category. But that overlaps into punk a fair bit, I would think. But I would say they have more in common with shit like REM and Weezer. To me,
you mentioned REM. They actually went on tour with the Replacements.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
In 1984,
yeah, I would put the like that kind of music in like its own little bubble, but whatever, that doesn't really matter. But people always want an explanation from me. There's your explanation. It's not to be like shitty. Yes, it's just how my brain works.
You ask 10 different people what punk is, you're going to get 10 different answers, though.
Oh, you're going to get 20 different answers.
That's what I'm saying.
They're all going to give you 2 answers.
What is punk? Like that's the fucking. It's like asking what the meaning of life is or something.
Punk is diarrhea, apparently.
It doesn't. Like, I mean, it's people have. That's the beauty of the conversation, though, right? It's like it can be whatever the fuck you want it to be in a lot of ways, and
that's what's great about you and I being able to talk about this stuff is that we agree with that. We agree that you can have a different definition.
Yeah.
Even if we argue about it sometimes, we still go, okay, yeah, but at the end of the day, it was just us talking back and forth. You can do whatever you want. Like, I don't care. You can call whatever you call Replacements whatever you want. I don't care. Yeah. Like, I will say this, man. I want to, before we get off of the Replacements and start talking Leatherface, I do want to say, I think they're a good band, and I think that I'm going to like some of their later stuff quite a bit.
I think you like it more. I think I fucked you up by giving you this record first.
Well, honestly, since I kind of had that feeling that was coming, when I heard the first song, I was like, "Oh, he gave me the wrong record." I had to just let my brain work through it. It was whatever. Right. It was for the show. But I think I've heard one of their albums before. I'm fixing to look up their discography real quick and tell you which one I think it is. Let It Be. I think I've heard at least some of.
Sorry.
Because no, it's all right. I think Let It Be. I think my friend used to have that album because it's blue on the cover, and then Pleased to Meet Me. I think I had at least at some point.
Let It Be is the one where they're all sitting on the roof.
Correct. That's the one that I'm pretty sure I heard.
Which is actually, I think they're spoofing an album cover by Beatles.
Well, I mean, don't they have an album called "Let It Be"?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's like they're just the Replacements are one of those bands. They're just funny. They're like tongue in cheek. They didn't take themselves too seriously at all, ever.
And I can appreciate that. I think that there's going to probably be a good chunk of songs that I'm able to make my own little playlist with, and I think that that's good, man. I don't think you have to like every song on every album to be a fan of a band. I used to be different, man. I think as this show evolves, I think I'm evolving with it. I think I'm turning into a different kind of music fan, which is weird. I never thought I would ever. I don't know.
I'm gonna shut this dog up. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. That dog hates this podcast. Man, I got these records to listen to. I got these records to play. Oh, yeah, all day. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Ichiban records are so good to listen to. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Rock and roll. I'm over here singing to myself, Nitty showing off records. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm singing in the microphone, showing off records. Oh, yeah. Ichiban, cult crime.
Ooh.
What we doing, folks? I'm over here. I'm entertaining people, dude. You were gone. I was fucking... They're like, dance, clown, dance. And I was like, dude, fucking singing King of the Hill. And
speaking of which, I don't know why this reminded me. I saw a pretty good movie. I saw 2 good movies recently that you should watch.
Were they both pornography?
Oh.
Swing and a miss. No, I'm playing. What's up?
I watched The Monkey. Remember that Stephen King short story?
Oh, that movie fucking sucks.
Bro, you're fucking tripping. That was a good movie.
That movie's terrible.
It's not really a horror movie. It's more of a comedy. I
fucking hated that movie. I thought it was terrible. Okay, I saw it in theaters.
If you saw The Monkey and you liked it, comment below. Let me.
Tell me I'm wrong again.
Oh, and the other one was called it's a new A24 movie, which I know you love, called Opus, about a cult.
Well, based on the fact that it's A24, I'll go in with tempered expectations. That studio fucking blows. Look
at this. Objective realities with Randall.
I like
fucking blows.
I like some of their stuff. The Lighthouse was really good.
Yeah, good. Fantastic.
Bodies was cool.
How's that?
Let Me In was cool. Is that the one where they had the hand thing?
With the head?
No, it was just the hand. They grabbed the hand. That was a cool movie. I just don't like all the artsy stuff. I'm not into that stuff. I like if I showed you some of my movies, you'd be like, oh, I get it. I have a movie called Sharkula. Okay. It's amazing. It's amazing. But I thought The Monkey, man, it was more like it felt like an R.L. Stine movie to me, man. I didn't want that.
It wasn't supposed to be scary, man.
I don't need it to be scary, but I don't need it to have a bunch of fucking cartoonish effects either, man. It looked like a fucking cartoon.
Bro, you watched Terrifier. Give me a fucking break, dude. Come on.
Terrifier looks at least sort of realistic. This shit looked like it looked like Goosebumps.
That's a part of the I don't know. Goosebumps? Nah.
No, it's very, very that yes, people will agree with that. It was like Goosebumps, and I don't want that kind of movie. If I wanted that,
if you like The Monkey, comment below. Fuck the Replacements, Leatherface shit.
The short story is supposed to be pretty good though.
Yeah, Stephen
King. Like the story and the premise was solid. I just didn't like the execution.
I'm a big Stephen King fan. I mean,
I'm a big horror movie fan, and that movie is like
big fan.
Yeah, it's whatever though. It's I would watch it again. I just only watched it the one time. I just hated it.
Why would you want to watch something you hate again?
Why would I listen to Husker Du more than once? Just in case. You never know.
Fair point.
You know what I'm saying? Type shit, bro.
Shit.
You want to move on to Leatherface type shit?
I want to say something about
Yeah. We still got to grade this album too. Or at least I'm going to.
So the Replacements, every single one of their albums is
terrible.
Oh, it's different. Sorry. Depending on who you ask, it could be terrible too. I don't even like all their songs, man. I think later in their career they got a little corny, if you ask me. Like they got a little too. When they signed to like Warner Brothers later on.
What was it about it that became corny to you? Was it too glossy?
Replacements fans like love their later stuff.
Okay.
Sorry Ma is probably a lot of the fans' least favorite record, because a lot of the Replacements fans aren't really into punk anyway.
I can see that.
Like the college rock.
They're into shit like REM. Right. I will say this. You have gotten some flack in the comments about like, that's a terrible place to introduce him to this band. I think that you do that shit like you like subconsciously do it on purpose.
I don't give a fuck.
No, I'm not saying you should give a fuck. I'm saying like I think that your brain, I think that you don't even realize you do it. I think if I gave you two things and said, here, choose one of these, and underneath both of them, one said popular, one said unpopular. Somehow you would figure out which one was unpopular and go, I want that one.
Without even knowing what's underneath the
right,
thing.
Right. So like subconsciously, I think you're doing that, whatever. But I figured that out. So when I heard the first track on this, I already knew like, man. And then when you told me what year it came out, I was like 81. I was like, okay, let's listen to it.
Here's the thing. I picked my favorite album by the Replacements.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I said, you know what? This is the one that I like.
Nothing wrong with that.
Other people in the comments will be like, "Oh, that album fucking blows." Yeah, that's Tim. I like Tim too. Tim's a great record.
That's why I wanted to make sure and put in here that I said, "Give me an accessible record," because you didn't. Whatever, but like I did specify that when we were talking.
It on purpose. Yeah, I was fucking crazy.
No, it's funny, dude.
I get Randall Replacements record.
I love this shit because we learn about each other. Like I learn about myself on this channel all the time, bro. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I did that. Like all the time.
But the last thing I'll say about the band, and then we'll give it a grade, move on, is like check their later stuff out and see.
I'm going to for sure. Hey guys, in the comments, I'm sure you're not even watching at this point, but if you are, let me know which records to listen to. I'm sure you've already gotten to that point where you got tired of us blabbering and told me what record to listen to and left. But if you're still here, a thumbs up would be cool too. I'd appreciate that. Out of 1 through 10, what are you thinking on this Replacements record? Probably super high for you, right?
I mean, minus a couple of tracks that I'm just like, I'm not really into this.
What tracks do you not like?
I'm not a big fan of Auto. I'm not a big fan of Headache.
Okay.
Other than that, I listen to the whole record. I mean, I'll just let the whole thing play through.
Right. Like I said, they're not long songs. It's not hard. I think it's like 30 minute long record or something like that.
Like half an hour long record. I mean, I love this album. I'm going to give it a 10. I'm giving
You can't give it a 10 because there's songs that you don't like on it.
Fuck. All right. I give it a 9. I give it a 9 because for what it is, it's a masterpiece. Straight the fuck up.
Damn. So what is it? A masterpiece dog shit pile?
You seen a piece of shit on the ground?
It's the perfect little swirl.
I want to take that home and with a little top, like a fucking
looks like saucer,
a frozen yogurt.
So I'm gonna say that for rarely do I ever think that my subjective grade and the objective grade kind of line up. I think that this is probably around a 6.5 for me.
Okay,
maybe like a 7.
Subjective or objective?
Subjective, I think 6.5. I'm gonna say 7 objectively, just a slight bit more, because I think even though you're gonna say that they don't really care for it much, I think there's gonna be enough people that care for this record that it's gonna be like, because if 5's average, I do think it's above average. I don't think it's an average record or worse. I think it's above average.
This is the punks like this record.
I'm curious if the punks like this record because there's a lot of stuff on here that I thought would turn punks off, but I don't. Whatever. I'm just curious what people think. I think 6.5 for me and 7 objectively is pretty fair. Yeah. Cool. It was a pretty decent record. I'm gonna give it another listen, probably in another week or so. I've learned to just like let these things simmer a little bit and get back to it when I have time.
Yeah.
I will say, listening to it at home was better experience than listening to it in the car. I don't know if that's because of the speakers or whatever, but like I had a better time listening to it at home. But I was also my second listen through, so that might have something to do
What'd you think of his voice?
I don't really care for his voice too much.
Paul,
I'm pretty particular with vocals, though.
He had like a very specific career after the Replacements too.
Paul. Oh, really?
Yeah, in the 90s.
It wasn't bad. I just, it's not too bad. I liked it okay, I guess.
The Can't Hardly Wait song, Can't Hardly Wait. It's in the movie Can't Hardly Wait, for fuck's sake.
The fuck? You think I watched that shit?
I don't know. It's like 90s rom-com fucking bullshit.
I do like Matthew McConaughey.
But the Replacements song is featured in that movie.
The Replacements, that's what they feel like a band that would be in soundtracks. That's what they feel like.
They're a soundtrack band later in their career. It's like alt rock Americana stuff.
Yeah. REM.
No, a little cooler than REM. REM's boring as fuck, dude. Are you kidding me? REM is like a snooze fest, man.
Some might say the Replacements are boring. Not me.
Not as boring as REM. Come on, you got to give the Replacements.
Oh no, they're not as boring as REM. Yeah, it's fine.
Rapid eye movement. In fact, their name indicates.
Is that what that means?
You know, like when you
That's
sleep and you fucking are in deep sleep, you get the wraparound movement.
oh yeah, because it is REM's. That's what the
REM
I'm
sleep?
so okay. Yeah, REM sleep.
Because they put you to sleep, man.
Just kidding. Yeah, they do. They sure. Oh man.
All right,
I
let's
always
move on.
thought that guy was Moby. I thought it was like some kind of trick they were doing.
Michael Stipe?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Did you
When
actually?
I was younger, yeah.
I don't know why that cracks me up, dude, but it's funny. A white bald guy, kind of whiny. Sure, let's call him Moby.
You know what I'm saying?
Same guy. I do. You remember that band Ugly Kid Joe back in the day?
Unfortunately.
Everything. I had the tape when I was in the 6th grade. The first letter I ever wrote to a band was that band.
Did they send you a turd in a box?
I didn't get anything back, man. I sat there with my little ass fucking on a piece of paper.
Dude,
Dear Ugly Kid Joe, you guys are so good.
I know. I know I rarely fawn over Rancid, but when I was like, I think 15, I wrote them a letter, and they wrote me a letter back and sent me like a 1-page letter, and they sent me it was weird too, like a big giant fold out mail order thing with like a little book, patch, a couple of stickers, and I think a sampler CD that might have been a Give 'Em the Boot that didn't have. It was just like in a plastic sleeve. They sent me like a little like a manila envelope package, and it was like handwritten and everything. Like the
letter,
huh?
Who wrote the letter?
I think Tim wrote it.
Amazing.
It had that handwriting that I think is his handwriting. It looked like the Out Come the Wolves liner notes. And it was all signed by all of them too. The front of it had all their signatures. It had Brett, Matt, Tim, and Lars. Unfortunately, that perished in that stupid fucking flood. I had that since I was a little kid, man. My dad came in the house and was like, "You're gonna be so excited," or he goes, "You're not gonna believe this," and I was like, "Oh no!" I thought it was like something from the school, and he's like, "You got something from that rock band you like?" And I was like, "What are you talking about, dude?" And he hands it to me, and I literally was like, I mean, he died like 4 weeks after that. Like that was like one of the last things he ever gave me.
Damn.
Shout out Pops for not being there. The fuck, dude. The hell.
Yeah. Still fucking cool as shit that you got that letter.
Yeah, dude. It was like one of the coolest things that ever happened. And I was like, no, dude.
That just solidified your love for them even more. You know what I'm saying?
That wasn't when he passed away. That was when he moved. I was like, well, he didn't die then. I was young. He died when I was 16, turning 17. A couple of years later. Anyways, yes, it definitely solidified my love for them. I think in the letter I wrote to them that I put like, hey, I'm from Houston, but I went to Dallas to see you guys, and I'm in like the 9th grade or 8th grade or whatever. And they were probably like, yo, this is a kid, because I was a kid, and I wrote them this letter just being like, you guys are awesome. Like it was just like, yo, you do. I think I saw on the very early internet, my dad, one of the coolest things he ever did for me. After I tell you this, we will talk about Leatherface. I'm so sorry, folks. My dad did this really cool thing. Back when the internet was not really a thing yet, I showed up one day and he had this binder, and he goes, "Here, I made this for you." And he hands it to me, and it's just it was blue, navy blue binder, and it was full, probably 100 of those little clear sheets that you could put paper in. And I opened it, and it was every single interview that my dad could find on the internet in circa like 1998.
Really?
That Rancid ever did. Dude, it was like 40 different interviews from like 1991 till 1998.
How do you find that?
Forums. He would go to forums, and they would like email my dad these giant text things. He would be like, "My son's into this band Rancid. Do you have any information on them? Do you have any, like, how can I learn about them?"
That's really cool of your dad to do that.
It was the only thing my entire life that he ever did like that for me. Like ever. He never did anything like that. Dude, I still to this day don't understand why he did that. Like I don't know what his motivation was, because he never did stuff like that for me. I think maybe he just felt bad for not being around or something. I don't know, man. It was really weird. But yeah, but I think within that stuff I found the address, and it was like, hey, if you want to write to us, you can write here. And I sent something, and
the address somewhere in Oakland, California?
Oh yeah.
Berkeley?
Yeah. Okay. And then I wrote Fat Mike when I was in high school, and he wrote me back.
Was that when he was in San Francisco or LA?
Oh shit!
He used to live in San Francisco.
I don't know. I want to say San Francisco, because I think all of it was in San Francisco that I was sending stuff to Oakland, San Francisco. Those are pretty close, right?
Yeah, they're right across the
Yeah,
border.
I think all the stuff I was sending was out in that part of the country, but he sent me back like a derogatory note. His was like basically "fuck you, nerd" or something like that, with like a LOL or like a smiley face or something like that. I think it was like "fuck you, dork" or something like that.
He was
Like
probably just trying to be funny.
like ha, yeah, it was like ha 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 ha. Thanks for something else, and then it was like a CD sampler, a couple stickers, and then I think I was requesting a mail order thing, and he sent me like a big catalog.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was just being like because that was like 25 years ago. He was being just a young dumbass,
Yeah.
But dude, back in the 90s, man, punk rockers were super cool. They would write you back. All right, let's talk about Leatherface.
Leatherface.
Okay. Oh shit, wrong thing.
You start.
I'm trying to. Give me 1 second. Okay. Oh, no kidding, huh? Okay, so released in 1991, we get Mush. Is it how you say Mush or Mush?
Either way, potato.
We get Mush from Leatherface. It's their third album. I actually have a very old copy of this on CD from Roughneck. This is pretty cool. I don't have a lot of stuff like this, but I bought a collection of stuff from my buddy Kevin. And this Leatherface CD is a really, really old Roughneck edition. And then you were telling me that other one that I had was a first edition as well, from a smaller imprint. I just think that kind of stuff is really cool. Okay, here's the thing. I've been a fan of Leatherface for like 20-something years, right? That doesn't mean I'm a super fan. For the most part, I listened to Cherry Knoll and Horsebox, and that was about it. But I love those albums. Like I love Horsebox, dude. I think I have like 2 copies of that on CD and 1 on LP. I love that album. I had never heard this album. And people are going to trip out, right? Like, it is what it is, dude. I never had a copy. I never saw a copy around. It was never available. I didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
Until you told me, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be the guy that was like, oh, and I fucking, oh, it's so good. Like, I just wasn't trying to, I wasn't trying to do that, right?
Okay.
But man, I got to cradle those balls and I got to stroke that shaft, my friend.
That's good. Yeah.
This album is great, man. This is a fucking good record. I have some stuff to say about this album.
Yeah.
First off, I like Motorhead too. It's good to know, fellas. Good to know. This album had so much Motorhead in it that I was like, man, does he have one of them things on his face now? Like, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why does it sound like Motorhead? The whole record. Are they big fans of Motorhead?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not even talking shit, bro. I was absolutely shocked at how much I was like, oh, this song sounds like Motorhead. And then like 2 songs later, oh, this song sounds like, oh, I said that already. Shit, okay. Like it kept going and going. This is your favorite album by Leatherface, correct?
This is my favorite album. This is one of my favorite albums of all time.
This album is really, really, really good. Is How Lonely, is that the first song?
The first song on, I should
know
this.
No, it's
Leatherface Mush. First songs.
No, I want the moon. Yeah, I Want the Moon. Okay, so that song is really fast. This album starts off and it's really fast. Can I read off some of my notes real quick and then I want to hear your response to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go. What you got?
So the album starts off quick. The pacing and the what's it called? Not rhythm, but the what's the word for the how
tempo?
Like,
the tempo?
thank you. The tempo of the album starts off like just blistering fast. And then it actually gets even faster. How Lonely, I think, is even a little bit faster than the first song. I put on here that it's beautifully dirty. There are vocal melodies and guitar leads all packed nicely into this wonderful song about being alone when maybe you don't want to be. I don't want to be the one to say it. I love the vocal rhythm in the first part of the song. There's amazing lyrics. Oh, dude, it's so good, man. Amazing lyrics in the oh, here we go. I said we're gonna talk about another word that was used, and the use of the word plethora. Dude, I can't say that word, man, because it's a word I love because I can't say it. But the line, a hymn and a rhyme, plethora of ashtray abuse, is so incredibly relatable and cinematic. And then I put, man, this band is quickly climbing the ranks of a top band's list for me. Pandora's Box was just kind of like it was like it's a good song because this whole album is pretty great, but it was just okay, whatever. Not Superstitious is a standout track. The vocal yells and the guitar playing. I'm really starting to like the mix and style of burying the vocals on these records. It's becoming kind of normal to me. It's easier to enjoy and understand what he's saying at this point. When I first started listening to Leatherface, this is why I'm a late bloomer, because I couldn't get into the like buried vocal style that he does.
Yeah.
As I get older and listen to it more and more and more, it's starting to become a little bit more normal to me, so I like it more. When I first heard Leatherface, I liked them a lot, and then for like a good 10 years, I just couldn't listen to it. I don't know why. I think I just didn't like the mix or something. But with this album, it's really doesn't even matter, to be honestly. Springtime musically is so many things that I love wrapped up into one song. The lyrics are about memories of good times, youthful adventures, and happiness. I just put Frankie Stubbs as a poet. Winning, the start of side B, I think. It starts off blistering fast. Incredible guitar. It's double bass. It's an incredible song.
Yeah, it's a good one.
In the Real World has some fantastic lyrics. This album is absolutely ridiculous. Another sweet guitar lead and solo, double bass in this song. But what the heck's going on with this album? Baked potato. Everyone knows how to cook baked potatoes, but they still tell you. That makes so much sense to me, dude. I feel like, is it a song about being like self-absorbed and like know-it-all and like pretentious?
It's got so many different meanings.
That's what it felt like. It felt like to me like it was talking about like, yeah, we get it. You know how to make a potato. Like stop. Like it felt like a song basically being like, what the fuck with all these pretentious people. But I'm almost done here. Dead Industrial Atmosphere is an awesome song as well. Incredible music. The guitar is very early 2000s emo and metalcore. This being from 1991, it was way ahead of its time, in my opinion. Trenchfoot has incredible guitar work. Scheme of Things as well. The melody and the riff on that one are really, really good. Side B is absolutely amazing. I think I prefer it over side A. That's basically what I wrote. I listened to this album like 3 times. I love it. I don't know that I like it more than Horsebox because I think that's just the one that I came in on.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably a better album though. Like whether I like it more or not, kind of irrelevant. I think it's the better album. And with time, it'll probably eclipse my feelings of Horsebox. But talk to me about this record for a minute, man. What you love this album, so tell me why.
I can't say enough about this band.
Dude, you love this band.
Yeah, I mean they're my favorite band. I mean, other than like Husker Du, I think they rank extremely high on my list of favorite. They're just, I don't know. Everything about this record it's perfect. You know, I feel like it's such an important record to me, and I love every song on the album. You know, it couldn't be. I think the way that it was recorded at the time, even the guy from Roughneck Records, I was reading an interview with them, Lawrence Bell. He said he signed Leatherface after he heard Cherry Knoll because he was managing a band called Snuff, who you're familiar with.
Yeah, I know Snuff. Right?
So Snuff played with Leatherface in the late 80s.
Okay.
And they had a tape of Leatherface. They're like, check this band out, you know, like they're fucking incredible. And I think he listened to Cherry Knoll and he kind of fell in love with the band and then signed them for 3 records. Mush, Minx, and the Last, which was Leatherface's last record before they broke up in like 94, 93. And Lawrence Bell of Roughneck was like, Leatherface, I gave him a budget to go to London to go record at a studio owned by the guy from the Vibrators.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that little tidbit.
Right. So they recorded at this guy who was in the Vibrators studio in London with their house engineer who just captured them perfectly at that time. And the product that came out of those sessions was Mush. And it was the perfect fucking punk record. Like it just like sonically, like the stars aligned, everything fell into place, and that's what happened. You know, it's not like they had a ton of money. They're just a little band from the UK. And I think when that record came out in 91, this predated Nirvana and like The Offspring and Green Day and the whole punk explosion in the United States, right? So they had high hopes for
I can't imagine this band blowing up. They don't have that sound. They're not polished enough. Dude, hey, I don't know. Is something hitting your microphone or something? I'm hearing like this weird noise. It sounds like it's like
It might be because it's is that better?
yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool.
It wasn't happening earlier and it started happening. And I was like, what is that? But yeah, I don't think that they have the sound that's going to do like even like a portion of Nirvana numbers, but I don't think they should. I don't think they were meant to be. I don't think that Frankie Stubbs wouldn't want it. I don't think.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's like I digress. I don't think that blow up is the word I meant to use. I think that what do you do with that record, right? Like
Right.
what do you do with this band? Like this band kind of came out of nowhere. They're from like this industrial town in like north of England.
You can tell by their sound that they're from like a town like that. It's,
some like post World War II kind of just like industrial grit, like shipyard town, right?
Well,
in the UK. And anyway, so it's like, but and this powerhouse of a band, arguably like one of the best punk bands to come out of the United Kingdom, puts out this record, and you're like, holy fuck, like I'm responsible for like getting this band out. And they did a bunch of tours and stuff. I think the biggest show they played was in London for like 700 people before they broke up, and that's not that many people.
No, it's not.
So their following was a very cult kind of following, and if you knew them. They were obviously bigger in Europe than they were in the States, and until Hot Water Music brought them over here, they were highly unrecognized in this country.
Right. I like when bands will do that, when they have a band that they admire a lot, and then they go, hey, look, we're going to get kind of big, so we're going to help you. And I like when bands are okay to accept that, because it's got to be a thing where you're like, maybe your pride gets in the way of that a little bit. Yeah. I like that pairing, though, because that split record they did was fantastic. So I lied. I had Cherry Knoll, I had Horsebox, and I had that split. Yeah. That's why I didn't really think about, I didn't know the other records, because I just didn't know. Mm-hmm. It's funny you mentioned, what do you do with this band? Because you got this great record. That's how I feel with Bullshit Detector. I really appreciate that they work with me, because I think that they're a genuinely great band. And I do everything I can possibly do for those guys, because I think that I have a similar feeling that you do about this, and that guy probably had about this. I totally listen to them and I go, holy shit, these guys are so good. Like I want people to hear this, but they also have like a kind of an unpolished sound, and I talked to Richard about this record and doing a Leatherface video, and he was like, oh yeah, Frankie Stubbs is my favorite musician of all time.
Right.
And I was like,
sorry about that, man.
No, it's all right. Parker came in here at the same time. It was just like chaos. But
well, he said that about Frankie Stubbs, huh?
Yeah, man. So I thought that was really cool. But like, I can hear after he said that, I can hear.
Yeah, I can hear that.
I can hear that, because he covers, like, Richard will cover bands. Like, he'll cover something like Bob Seger. Like, you wouldn't think he would even know that stuff. But it's like, yeah, he does. He likes this. Not that I'm equating those just to the same thing, but like, they come from the same, like, they're of the same ilk. Bob Seger writes about working hard and punching the clock, like, quite literally, right?
Bullshit Detective is a great band, and they're unique, and I think they're inspired, and I think that the opportunities they're getting right now are gonna, I think I'm whatever to just my like philosophy on things is kind of like, life kind of does you, you're just on the, you're like on the wave. You're riding this shit, right?
I'm very well aware.
You make choices and decisions as you go along, but who the fuck knows where you're going to be tomorrow, next week, in a month, in a year, And I think that what you do, in a lot of ways, is just kind of what you do, and you do it because you love to. And bands like Leatherface and them, are indicative of that. They're not doing this music for any other reason than that this is what they know. This is how they exist.
So I'm going to tell you a little quick story about Richard, and I'm going to tell you this story because I think that the like essence of Frankie Stubbs was in the air when this happened, right?
Yeah.
So I'm talking to him, and I feel like they probably get offers from other labels that can eclipse what I can do for them, right?
Right.
Yet he sticks with me, at least for the time being, because we're friends. And because when he needed something for his band, I didn't even question it. I didn't even have to hear it. I just said yes. And I did something for them. I knew that it was going to be good because I knew what he's all about. I've known him for a long time. But so we're a good pair, right? So one night we're talking, and I don't remember what the situation was. They were offered something. Some people were trying to get him to do guest vocals on a song. And he's like, yeah, send me the track. I'll lay down the vocals. If you want me to do double, I'll do double, but it won't take me very long. This is all I ever really do. And so he gets sent this song. I don't know if I'm getting the details mixed up, so I'm trying to be a little bit vague. But they send him the song. He does the stuff. They send it back. They want to do all kinds of stuff with it. They want to do these melodies and this stuff. And he's like, yo, I play punk rock. I don't play anything else. I like punk rock. I want to be on a small label. I want to make punk rock records. And today, when I was doing like a layout for their new, or not new, but their collection of songs we're working on for the CD, he literally goes, I was like, hey man, I'm going to knock this out. What do you want it to look like? And he goes, dark. One word, dark. And I was like, okay, yeah, I believe you. And so I send him a couple things, and then he goes, cool, I like it. And I was like, all right. And then he goes, plain. And I was like, heard. This dude sent me 2 words to tell me what he wanted his layout to look like. Dark, plain. I love that about him because I understand that, because I also like dark and plain. So that it helps that because like even with my t-shirts, if you ever noticed, I always wear like one color shirts. Like I don't like even this is like a lot. Like I'll take just the logo. I'm good with that. But yeah, man, I feel like those kind of people, Frankie Stubbs is one of those kind of people. And you could tell within his music that he writes songs. They're kind of stripped down, even though they're fantastic. I think they're more intricate than I've given them credit for. Yeah. But they're kind of, at the base of them, they're just a stripped down punk rock song. That dude wants to play punk rock songs. He wants to be in a punk rock band. He's not concerned about like being famous. He's not concerned about like just he's not a fucking Instagram girl. He's not a fucking TikTok star. Like he didn't care about that shit.
Not at all. I would equate him. This might be arguable, and you might not agree with him, but he's more like a folk. He's more like a folk. He's more like a folk singer.
Oh, I actually agree with that a lot. I think he's had a lot in common with Bob Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, he's more in that vein. It's like a gruff. When you hear Frankie Stuff's acoustic stuff, because he has a bunch of acoustic shit.
Yeah, I've heard a little.
He's like a gravelly vocal, like he just sounds like this crusty old guy with an acoustic guitar.
Well, I have at my shop. I get
no diss to Frankie.
No, dude, I think that was a compliment.
Yeah,
I have the luxury of being able to talk to people about music all day on the weekends for my job.
Yeah,
and I sell a lot of 31 record stuff, and it's because I'm good at selling stuff to people. So I constantly introduce people to new artists that they've never heard. And the last couple of weeks, I've let a lot of people hear Leatherface. And then some of the people that have bought some of this stuff would surprise you. I'm talking like, dude, 50-year-old, fairly well-off white guys with, $250 loafers on. And I'm like, they're like, hey, what are you listening to right now? What is this? I kind of like it. And I'm like, oh, it's a band called Leatherface. And they're like, oh, what's their story? And I'm like, and this may be, and again, people might argue with this as well. I said, if Bruce Springsteen had like smoked 2 packs a day and started a punk band, it would sound like Leatherface. And I was like, but they're from the UK. And I was like, they have this like kind of weird muddy sound. But once you get past that and you get below the surface, you're going to really, it opens you up to a lot of musical beauty that you won't think you're getting. On the surface, it's very, gruff and tough. But below the surface, man, it's pretty. And a lot of people are receptive to it. And so the guy that I'm talking about, I asked him because he was with his wife. She had some kind of bag on her arm that looked like it was expensive. I don't know. Could have been a knockoff. I don't know. But they looked like they had some money, right? And I just kind of said, I told him, judge a book by its cover here, man. You don't look like the kind of guy that would be into this. And he's like, yeah, I know. And he kind of stood there for a second, and he was like, I started working for myself when I was like 20 years old. And I was like, okay. And I was kind of just waiting. And he just kind of stood there, and you could just see him like reliving like hardships, it was cool, man. Like he was like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
I just started a company. I can't remember what it was. It was some, I don't know,
That is
some
really
company.
cool.
But he's like, yeah, man. He's like, you'd never know it, but like, I come from nothing. He's like, that's why I'm in here, man. This music. He's like, I relate to it more than you'd think. And I
It's
was like,
punk.
dude, I was like, that's rad, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so cool to see a guy who so looked like he probably listened to the radio. You know, no diss to him, whatever, bro. Listen what you want, but like,
Right.
he loved it, man. It was cool. I think he bought a CD. I think he bought Cherry Knoll, actually.
Wow. Okay, what an album. These guys are like the cream of the crop fucking songwriters and musicians. I don't think it gets much better than this band, in my opinion.
I mean,
of course, there's a lot of great bands out there. I'm not saying that, but like, this is like the gold standard for me, you know.
Well, I'll tell you this. I listened to this record. I've been planning on this being the one that we talked about for probably like a month now.
Yeah.
So I've listened to Leatherface a lot, not just this album, but Leatherface.
Yeah.
Actually, specifically those 3 albums, the split and this. So, or I guess the 3 albums and the split.
Yeah.
And I got a couple others I'm going to start listening to now that this has been done. But I think that they're gonna like creep into my top 10.
It's good.
I don't know that they can get to the top 5 because my top 5, I don't know, man. Rancid, they're not better than Rancid to me. One Man Army, nope. Born to Lose, nope. But now we're talking 4 and 5, which is like Bouncing Souls and Coxbar. I just don't know that I could go, yeah, I like them better than either of those bands. Bouncing Souls, there's no fucking chance, dude. Coxbar, I just don't know. But I can say that 6, pretty attractive spot for this. That's a pretty good spot for this band, bro.
You know, I'll take it for a band that you didn't really know much about or listen to much, that you just recently dove into. Getting the number 6 spot in your top bands of all time. Hey, man. To me, that's more of an honor than anything else, right?
Well, like I said, man, like 20 years ago, I had Cherry Knoll and Horsebox. That's all I knew of them. And then I got the Hot Water split because I like Hot Water. Because Hot Water music, normally, like, or not normally, but like 2 years ago, Hot Water music would have been the band. I'd have been like, no, I like Hot Water, but I like Leatherface too. But Hot Water's my shit. And I still love Hot Water music. I still want to get a Hot Water music tattoo. But Leatherface has eclipsed Hot Water for me. I think that they have
Leatherface's songs are way better than Hot Water songs on that split, in my opinion.
I haven't listened to that in a long time, so I'm not going to comment on that.
I mean, no diss to Hot Water, man. I mean, you know, big fan, especially of their earlier stuff. But Leatherface is just too powerful of a band, you know.
I like his vocals a fair bit better than Frankie Stubbs.
Frankie's vocals are hard to.
No. I love Frankie's vocals. Let me be very, very clear. I just really like. God dang, I'm lost his name.
Chuck Reagan.
Chuck Reagan.
Chris
No,
Walden?
Chuck Reagan. Chuck Reagan specifically.
Okay.
Sorry, Chuck Reagan. They have 2 or 3 guys that sing for them, but Chuck Reagan's vocals, he's just got this powerful, like booming voice that I have loved since the first time I heard it.
Yeah.
I guess I don't like them quite a bit more than Frankie's, but I think they edge it out. But I don't think their songs, I don't think like per album that they've got as many quality songs. Like if you just went, all right, album versus album, I think Leatherface wins that most of the time.
Yeah.
Like maybe Caution might eke out a win or something, but like other than that, I don't think it's better than Mush. I don't think it's better than Horsebox.
Yeah.
Might be better than Cherry Knoll. But like, I mean, that's like their best album, and it's not Leatherface's best album isn't Cherry Knoll. So like, I don't know.
The thing with Mush, I'll say, and this is, you know, we can kind of wrap this up. Mush is one of those records you can just play for anybody anywhere, and they'll be like, "Damn, this is crazy."
I was actually thinking about that literal statement earlier today. I don't know that I agree with that, but I don't know that it's that far off from the truth. I think that. But I want to talk about this for a second. In like reference to this record, I heard a lot of stuff that was popular within like metalcore and emo. I'm not saying that to be silly, like
I know it's just funny.
But the guitar work, like these guys were playing stuff that was going to get popular 10, 12 years later, and like I never hear anybody cite them as a inspiration at all? I don't know. I heard a lot of stuff. If we went through the album together, I could point out things and go, this sounds like this to me. And you would go, oh shit, you're right. I know you would, because I know you have heard this stuff. But I thought it was interesting that I heard a lot of like 2000s, mid 2000s,
You know what it is?
metalcore and emo, like screamo stuff within their guitar specifically.
You know what it is? I think it's kind of like what we're talking about the other day. It's like when you trace things back far enough, there's a line of influence, right?
Right.
So a lot of the bands that you're talking about, these metalcore and emo bands that came out in the early 2000s, they might not necessarily be able to trace their influences back to Leatherface, but they can trace it back to a band that was influenced by Leatherface.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
What kind of bands fall in that category, do you think?
It's hard to tell. I know that Leatherface really, I can tell you that they were influenced a lot by, like, Husker Du and Motorhead.
Well, they are, but like, what bands are influenced by Leatherface?
Jack Nasty, for instance, like the guitar player just played a lot of the American style hardcore stuff, But the bands that were influenced by Leatherface, I just probably a lot of like American. I hate the term orgcore, but that's what
those are the term drives me nuts, but I have to say it does categorize.
I don't even know what it means. Nicely. Like, why is it org? But whatever.
Because it's from some punk whatever.org. It's from that website, because that website covers punknews.org.
Really?
Yeah, because that website, that's the website that like covers all these kind of bands.
That's the reason.
This particular, as far as I understand it, that's what it is. That website was interested in a lot of those bands that sounded like that, and they became orgcore. At least as far as I understand it, anyways. I guess
if I'm being honest though, I feel like a lot of the bands that were influenced by Leatherface just fall so short most of the time. And they're just
look, I can see there's probably a lot of bands that are influenced by them, but none of them are going to come close to the sound. The only one that I would say comes even close would be Hot Water, and their later material sounds nothing like Leatherface. Their early stuff kind of does.
Yeah,
their early stuff kind of does, but their later material is way different. But I love Hot Water. I mean, Chuck Reagan went on to do like a really, really great solo career, and like but you can hear Leatherface within a lot of different bands. I think. I wonder if Against Me was fans of Leatherface, because I feel like I can hear.
For sure.
I think Murder City Devils, American Steel, those bands probably like Leatherface.
For sure. I think they're a band that has a lot of reach in like unspoken kind of ways. It's like it's a band that not everyone talks about, but if you know kind of thing.
Right.
Which is really interesting to me. That's these bands that have such like a mystique surrounding them are the ones that are the most compelling in a lot of ways, because
I agree with that.
They're not talked about. They're not cited as influences. They're not in your face. Like,
it's weird, isn't it?
A lot of bands, like, look at Rancid. I love Rancid, of course, but they're just, they're everywhere. They're in your face. They're on albums. They're, on TV. Or at one point they were on TV, but these types of bands that you just don't really see much of them. You've never heard much of them, and they were kind of like a flash in the pan, and they had their little corner of the world that they existed in, and that they made music in, and the people they made it for, and that was it. That's it. It was like a light that burned brightly for a short amount of time.
Yeah, I think it was like a light that burned bright in a room that was out in the country that had a small family that lived there. That's it. It wasn't in a big city.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
It was important to this group of people, and that's important. Just in the grand scheme of things, that group needed that. They got that, so that is important. Whether some kid in New York or LA heard it, doesn't even matter at this point. I think that Leatherface probably is one of the greater bands that doesn't get enough recognition. I don't know why I even said probably. They are definitely a band that is great, and I don't hear near enough people. But I will say this: their fans are ride or die, because I guarantee you people will watch this video and talk about them in the comments.
Yeah.
How many? I don't know, but the people love this fucking band. They would probably love this album. I'd be shocked if anybody said that this wasn't one of their top two, I would think. What other album do you think people think is really great? Is it Horsebox?
Probably Horsebox. I know people like Minx a lot. The one that came after this record,
Okay.
it was supposed to be Mush Part 2, you know, but it ended up kind of being the little brother of Mush.
Okay.
It didn't have the same sonic quality. A lot was lost in the recording sessions. So there's some great songs on it. But it's not Mush. It's more of a subdued album than Mush is. So
I want to give a little credit to Leatherface for having impeccable tastes when it comes to songs to cover. They've covered
Message in a Bottle,
and they also covered that Bruce Springsteen and Cyndi Lauper song, True Colors, which might be one of my favorite top 5 covers of all time. Would be True Colors. That song is amazing, and that cover is actually that's the song that I heard that got me into Leatherface was their cover of True Colors, because I was like, yo, who's singing the Cyndi Lauper song? And then my friend was in a van. Actually, the van, shout out Jaron if you see this, what's up, bro? Was my boy Jaron, who did Guilt Party. He was in Fight Pretty. He was in a lot of bands down here, dude. Jaron was the homie. He played bass in a lot of bands. I think he sang for Guilt Party. But he let me hear Leatherface for the first time, I think, and living in his house, doing all kinds of drugs, dude, partying and just fucking, dude. We used to have like house shows all the time, and dude, it was awesome, man. We had a lot of fun. But yeah, they do fantastic covers. It's getting late. We've been talking for a while. I jabbered a lot. This album is fantastic. What do you grade this album? Does this one get a 10 for you?
This is a perfect record, yeah. I can't give it any less than that.
I don't really give records 10s.
It's worthy of a 10 to me.
I think this one gets a 10 too for me as well. Like I do think that maybe Leatherface won't be in my top 5. They'll hit number 6 and kind of stay there. But I do think that this album can hang with And Out Come the Wolves. It can hang with Shock Troops. I genuinely think that it's got that kind of staying power. With me specifically, with whatever people think, I don't care. But with me, I think this could be in there with the Anchors Away, Shock Troops, Out Come the Wolves, Mush. Like straight up, I think it's that good. Last Word Spoken, yep, Mush. Whatever your favorite album is by your favorite band, this one holds that kind of weight.
Real recognize real, but those that know, and that's the beauty of this kind of shit. It's that
Bo knows Leatherface.
Bo knows Bo Jackson, baby, best athlete of the fucking
bro. That dude played professional football and professional baseball at the same time, bro.
Remember everyone had the Bo Jackson posters in the room back in the day?
I love that shit. There's a guy that has one at the antique mall, and I look at it every weekend and almost buy it every week. It's like $25 for a big ass, like, I don't know. It's not 11 by 17. It's bigger than that. It's probably 15 by 22 or something like that. Maybe 16 by 20, something like that. But it's him with the shoulder pads and the baseball over his shoulders. It has the Nike thing, and then it just says Bo knows. And I
remember the Michael Jordan poster. It was like the wingspan one. It's just his arm.
Oh yeah,
like hella long. Anyway, whatever.
They also had that one that was the same height as him for real. They had the one like that for Hakeem Olajuwon too.
Oh shit!
That's my favorite basketball player of all time, Hakeem.
He's on the Rockets, right?
Yeah. So here's a little story that people don't know about Michael Jordan. We beat them every series we played against them, right? We had a tougher time in the playoffs than they did, so we didn't make it to the finals as much as we could have or should have, whatever you want to call it, right? We were a great team. The Bulls were clearly a better team. They had their players. But I will say this. Michael Jordan has said in at least 2 interviews that I know of, boy, am I glad that we didn't meet the Rockets in the finals. We didn't have an answer for Hakeem. And if you ever watch a game that the Rockets played against the Jordan Bulls, watch what he does to those guys. It's kind of amazing. He embarrasses them, dude. It's wild. We whooped their ass, man. But shout out Michael Jordan. Shout out Hakeem Olajuwon. Shout out Larry Bird. That dude's badass too, or was.
Yeah, he was badass. Shout out to the white guys and fucking Steve Nash. Come on.
I was just thinking like, what players do I like a lot? I was like Larry Bird, Hakeem. I don't really like Jordan as a person.
Yeah, he's kind of a piece of shit guy.
Well, he also doesn't like poor black people. That's weird. That's weird to me, man. Poor black people are awesome. What are you talking about?
Jordan apparently was not an awesome guy.
Dude, he had a fucking Hitler stash. What are we talking about? You remember that shit? He had that Hanes commercial where he had the little Hitler stash.
I do, man. The Hanes, the fucking under the tidy whities and shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's late.
Stop it, bro. It's 11:45 for me. It's only 10 o'clock for you.
Dog, yeah, this is fucking.
Calm down.
I'm sitting down for a while.
All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. I don't have our picks for the next week or two picked out yet. I will text Nitty and let him know. Please let us know in the comments, what do you want us to talk about, man? Give us some suggestions. We're getting to the point to where I kind of want to just see what the viewers think. And
you know, honestly, what do you want us to talk about? What 2 albums?
Yeah, give us. It may not be the next video, but I'll let people.
I'll listen to anything.
Maybe I'll start the video with this. I'll clip this out and put it at the front. What do you want us to talk about? Give us some suggestions so we can pick from it. If you're a Patreon member, just message me on Patreon and we will pick it, because Patreon members obviously get a little bit more priority because they're helping us in a way that is very important. So, everybody else, thank you so much. No matter what you're doing, if you're here, it's important, man. I appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. All right. Peace.